Hi guys, my name is Moran. Welcome to my channel and to another episode of Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit for you and we all read them and marvel at some people because you can't make this up. And today the premise of the episode is very simple. We're looking at stories about awful best friends. Basically the people whom you can describe with a saying, with friends like these, who needs enemies? Let's dive in. Am I the asshole for gossiping about my best friend? My best friend Sonia, female 31, and I, female 30, have known each other for 12 years. I love her to pieces, but she's one of those annoying people who everything comes easily to. You know what I've noticed? Every time someone on Reddit writes, I love her to pieces, there is something awful following after that. She did her master's, uni is free where we live, and after that she figures, nah, it's not for me, and decided to not work in her field, and instead she writes romance novels full time. She must be doing real well for herself because it's not so easy to survive on writing novels full time. Such a waste of potential. Wait, why is that a waste of potential? If she's good at it, then why are you about that? She doesn't have nor want kids, so she wakes up at like 12 and goes to sleep at like 4, and somehow she manages to get everything done and still have time for hobbies, because apparently learning languages or an instrument is a hobby according to her. Well, yes, it's a hobby. What else is it? If you are consistently doing something for fun and not for earning money or because you have to, it is a hobby. Girl, you are so jealous, it's ridiculous. She's pretty and thin, which I admit I'm slightly jealous of. Slightly jealous of. This whole post, which I'm not even halfway done with, is dripping with venom, okay? And it makes it all sting even more. She has both pretty and thin privilege, which isn't fair. Which isn't fair. Oh my god. How old are you? 5? Why are you throwing hissy fits about this? Life isn't fair in general. Are you serious right now? You're like 30. What is going on with you? I have a daughter, 3, and it was her birthday last Saturday. We invited some of our friends, and my husband invited his mate, let's call him John, who's from Peru. John is a beautiful man, and I have an innocent crush on him. I'm married, I wouldn't cheat. When Sonia came over, it was the first time John met her, and they started talking in his language. Do you remember when I said she's apparently thinks learning languages is a hobby? Yeah. She must be doing really well with her hobbies because it's not that easy to learn somebody's language to the point where you can actually talk in it. So good for her, I guess. Extra points. And he started asking about her, which annoyed me, to be honest. It's done. So I told him that I love her to bits, but she can be pretentious with her little hobbies. This is so much judgment, just this rotten jealousy that it just breaks my heart for Sonia that she has such an awful friend. And told him to be careful with her because she writes romance and will likely be high maintainer despite looking like a cold girl. She's into metal and looks the part despite her age. I was honest with John. I love Sonia, but she's too much. You don't love her. You like legit hate her. I don't know why you're friends. It feels like you're just torturing yourself with having her in your life because it seems you desperately want to be her. You desperately want whatever she's doing, but you just can't have it and you can't come to terms with the fact that you hate it. So definitely have to work on yourself. Apparently, John met with Sonia later and she found out about what I said and is really angry with me, as she should be. She called me and told me she was disappointed in me. I tried to explain, but she called me an asshole and told me I owe her an apology. That's a soft reaction. I would straight up never talk to you again because you're supposed to be best friends and you're doing that. Okay. My husband thinks I should have kept my mouth shut. He doesn't like Sonia, but he thinks John has a right to at least sleep with her if he wanted to. And he said I should apologize because John and Sonia hit it off and will be dating. Everyone is annoyed with me, but I was only honest. I need an opinion. Was I an asshole? Yes, a huge one, and I kind of hate everything about this post. You should not have friends if you think this is what friendship looks like. If you think that it is normal to speak the truth, which is genuinely just talking about your friend to anyone else behind her back. Reddit also agrees. She was served with an verdict and she's got a little Sinek award, which I also can get behind. And let's just move on from this terrible person to another terrible person. Am I the for assuming my friend was keeping her partner away because I didn't like him when actually he didn't like me? I, 38 female, have known Ali, 40 female, for 15 years. We first met at work when we were single and the youngest people there. We became good friends and socialized together and still do. Ali met her partner, Matt, who she is still with years later. He does not share her interests. He is an avid football supporter, UK, and very anti the rival football team. Even when he doesn't go to watch matches live, he watches at the pub with male friends. He plays sport with his friends. She's a football widow. She likes going to the theater and to dinner. He'll go to dinner with her but doesn't much enjoy the theater unless it's a serious play. She likes musicals and she likes going with female friends. She says she doesn't mind. They aren't joined at the hip and she has plenty of friends and relatives who enjoy going to the theater with her and that she doesn't want to go to football. I wonder. I am known for being brutally honest. Oh, my favorite sort of people who say I am known for being brutally honest and are just in fact toxic. When she introduced me to Matt, she asked my opinion and I gave it. I didn't really see them together. I didn't like that he drinks and swears. He has a professional job but isn't very refined, unlike her, and I found him a bit difficult to connect to. At the time, she was hurt but got over it and generally just engineered it, so I never really saw him. He was always busy when I organized the party, etc. They now have 2 young boys and he looks after them when she comes out with her friends. To be honest, more recently my opinion of him has improved. He seems to be a really good daddy to the boys and they clearly adore him. They are also football mad. It took me longer to meet my significant other, Edward, but I now have, and we have just got engaged. Ali and Matt both attended our engagement party. Edward actually also likes football and ended up getting on really well with Matt. Later, I asked Ali if she'd be up for doing something as couples as Edward and Matt got on well. She was non-committal. A few weeks later, I tried to arrange something and she accepted for herself, but Matt was busy. I explained I wanted to do something with the 4 of us when he was free. She kept stalling. I pushed it, maybe I shouldn't have, and she said it wasn't a good idea because he and I didn't get on. I said it was okay. I changed my opinion more recently and Edward liked him. She looked surprised and then awkwardly let me know it was because he didn't really like me. She thought I knew. I didn't and I was upset. This was news. I wonder why a person who you really don't like also doesn't like you back. Wow, what a great surprise. I don't even know. I asked her why. She was embarrassed but said he found me judgmental and too much. No wonder, because at the start of the post you were like, I hate that he isn't refined, he doesn't like theater, and he likes football, and he's a bit too common for our taste. Like, do you hear yourself? I don't find it strange that he finds you judgmental-ish. I don't even know what that means. A few other examples as well. I was hurt and told her I had assumed she kept us apart because I didn't like him, not the reverse. It gives me a bit of a narcissistic vibe. I'm not saying this woman is a narcissist, but it does give me that. It's like the whole world is spinning around me, and if I want to change something, it has to change because, well, you know, I like him now, so bring him in. And it's like, did you ever consider he might also hate you too? Obviously not, because you were hella surprised when he didn't. She said that we didn't get on, so what difference does it make? I'm beyond hurt and did react badly and told her some hard truth about him. I regret this now and tried to apologize, but she won't return my calls. Am I the asshole? Yes, both Reddit and I agree that you are an asshole, and I really do hope she just stops talking to you altogether, because once again, you don't need to accept your friend's partner if you don't really like them, but you have to understand that if you're close friends and your friend really, really is into this person and the person is not dangerous or anything, then you should just try to accept the partner if it's like going to be a long-term thing, because you're just hurting not only your friendship but your friend personally. For them, it's not really fun to be stuck in the situation where they know you hate their partner. Your responsibility is to sort of try to accept the partner. You don't need to be best friends with them. You don't need to, hang out with them all the time or whatever. Just don't be to them, that's all. And it sounds like this woman was sort of a to him, and that's why her friends started avoiding meeting when they're all together. It's really funny to me how this woman is like, well, I hated him, but now I gracefully changed my mind, but now I am offended that he hates me in return. So weird. Let's move on to the next person, and this one is actually from relationship advice. My female 24 friend, female 22, has a crush on a recent ex, male 25 of mine, and won't stop saying weird sexual things to both me and him. This is the third time she's gotten a crush on one of my exes. That is not a good sign. We broke up amicably maybe a year ago. We were both just too busy and are still friends, and we still talk and hang out on occasion. My friend, we'll call her Jane, has developed a crush on him this past month for some reason. She's been handling this crush by DMing him on Instagram and telling him to ask her out, including a line about how they could hang out, then he could jam his redacted down her throat. Okay, she is not very shy about this. He didn't answer her. He does not know her and has never met her. He's a gentleman, so he hasn't said anything to me about it. She's been expressing frustration to me about how he isn't picking up on her advances, which consist entirely of that weird Instagram DM. She's also started weird conversations with me and with other people if we're hanging out with a group about how her type is black guys. He's black and she does not know or hang out with anybody who is black. I would also say that this is not her type. She entirely dates other white dudes, so it's pretty clear that she's talking about my ex. She also makes comments to me about how much she likes his body and appearance. It's been freaking me out a bit since it's clear she's fetishizing him for his race. I haven't passed this on to him because it's weird and I don't want to subject him to it. It's been making me really uncomfortable that she's pursuing someone I dated in such a pushy, overly sexual way. He is a person who is important to me and that I have a lot of respect for. I'm very confused about this post. I'm not done, but I just want to say, why does she seem to be missing one of the key rules of friendship? Is that you don't pursue each other's exes, especially not in such an atrocious way. I mean, yeah, if you broke up and then one of the exes, randomly really fell in love with one of your friends, then it's a different discussion. But doing this is just straight up not normal, I feel like. Isn't it implied that no one really wants their friends to their exes? I would not be happy if that happened, but what do I know? The thing is, this isn't the first time she's gotten a crush on an ex of mine. This same thing happened a couple of years ago with a different guy. We dated briefly, the chemistry wasn't there, we split up and stayed amicable, and we run in some of the same circles of friends and run into each other sometimes. I was out at a bar with some of my friends, including Jane, after seeing the movie, and he was there with some of his friends. There was a bit of a brief, friendly exchange exchange between our groups. Hi, how are you? Great, have a good night, etc. And he went back to the other side of the bar with his group. Jane got mad at me because he hadn't said hi to her, and I asked why he'd say hi to her if he didn't know her. She said it was rude of him to not take initiative. Okay, this is just stupid. She sounds weird. When I got home, she texted me that she added him on Instagram and DM'd him to ask him out, and he responded saying that he wasn't really dating at the moment. Jane was very mad at me about this for some reason, like she was entitled to go out with him and that it was my fault it hadn't happened. She decided a couple of weeks later that she hated him for being so rude and was upset that I don't also hate him. Your friend clearly is going through something for quite a long time, and this is not a good energy to have around. I'm sorry, but friends who tend to get like that about your exes can also very easily get like that about your present partners, and we don't really want that, do we? Even without counting that, I think it's a very toxic dynamic when your friend does that. She basically sexually harasses one of your exes, and then she got mad at another of your exes because he didn't fall over in a rush to date her. It's very weird. I don't know what's going on in her head. There was a third instance of something just like this with someone I dated in the past. She messaged him on Instagram asking him out. He never answered. She expressed her frustrations about it to me. Girl needs to get off the Instagram and just think about her behavior for some time. Anyways, does anyone know why she's doing this? I feel like it's obvious that you shouldn't romantically or sexually pursue your friend's exes. I do get very uncomfortable with these conversations and I try to express that, but she doesn't notice. It's like she doesn't even listen to me. I just get steamrolled. And this can actually come out of not only jealousy, but of deep insecurity. She might be really jealous of the partners you are dating, and she might be jealous of you. And it kind of can be her way, even the one that she's not really fully aware of proving to herself that she is no worse than you. You know what I mean? It's like, if I can get the same guy, I am as pretty and as cool and as smart as my friend. And this is a terrible dynamic, of course, for friendship, because you're not supposed to be jealous of your friends. You're not supposed to be trying to get the same partners and same people. And it's kind of similar to those cases where one of the friends is constantly copying the other. It can be accidental, but like when it is a pattern, it isn't an accident obviously anymore. It's sort of a psychological issue within the friend that they need to work on, but meanwhile you better just distance yourself from them because it's not very healthy for you. It's not really a good idea to be always close to someone who is jealous, who wants to be you, or who wants to take something from you. That is some energy we're getting rid of in 2023. Am I the for calling my friend a pick-me? I, 20 female, am friends with Anna, 21 female. We've been close since 9th grade and have always been friends since then. Anna and I are book nerds, at least Anna used to be. We bonded over several of our favorite authors and libraries were our hangouts. Anna became less and less into books when she started dating her current boyfriend. They've been together for 2 years and I'm happy for them, but I'm also wary of him sometimes. Anna is a gamer now because of her boyfriend. He introduced her to Overwatch and she got addicted for weeks. Then they tried playing other games like Fortnite, Valorant, Nintendo games, you know, all those. Which is fine, but then Anna started getting frankly misogynistic gamer girl aesthetic. She sent me pictures of her gaming PC that she entirely built herself and just spent money on expensive figures and decorations for it. It's also all pink. She bought pink mice and now has a collection of pink keyboards. She also changed her avatars on Discord to anime or video game avatars. She seems really into the aesthetic of girls who are pressured into a super feminine role as a gamer. I started wondering if her boyfriend is pressuring her into that role, so I reached out and let her know that it's okay to still love books and you don't have to be those gamer girls who are just obsessed with pink. Girl, you have no idea what's going on in there. Why are you trying to stick your nose into this whole thing? Why? She said that she just has new hobbies right now, but she still loves books and she doesn't mind hanging out with me. I told her I'm sad she doesn't hang out anymore because it feels like her boyfriend is just forcing her to play games. She got really defensive and said her boyfriend has helped her get really good at games and built her gaming aesthetic. Though, to be honest, I don't get those gaming aesthetics where you spend $1,000 on decorations, posters, and parts outside of a PC that you are never going to even use. I said that it feels like she's contributing to a misogynistic image of female gamers and it feels pick-me-ish. She responded by calling me a judgmental asshole and that she can invest in any hobby she wants. Am I really the asshole? She was never super into pink or interacting with guy gamers online on Discord 24/7, so it comes off as a pick-me to me. To start off, I'm just gonna say, yes, you are an it's none of your business. That's what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with you. Her hobbies shouldn't be your concern. You are not in any position to tell her if her new hobbies are okay or not. The farthest you can go is if it bothers you that much, you should just distance yourself. That's all. But you cannot expect that you will come in, insult her new hobby, and she will just drop it because it can be, absolutely can be, influenced by her boyfriend. He can sort of inadvertently pressure her into it. It can all be true. She can be becoming a pick-me, but she can also be genuinely interested in all these things. We're not excluding that because you are also engaging in misogyny when you are presuming that she's doing it for the sake and enjoyment of her boyfriend and other boys, because you're kind of discarding the whole idea that she might really just like gaming. Yes, she didn't like it before, she likes it now. If they're undergoing some sort of change and you just don't agree with it, it doesn't mean it's not valid. I certainly despise gaming aesthetic. I do not like games. I don't like the typical gamer girl type of thing going on. I don't like any of it. And yes, I used to be a gamer because I used to be a biggest pick me you can ever find. It was frankly upsetting. But could you question my choices back then? Not really. I mean, you could come to me and be like, you're a pick me, and you could come to me and be like, well, you're not really reading that much anymore. And I would tell you it's none of your business because I used to have one hobby, now I have a different hobby. Yes, that hobby was kind of enforced on me, but then it's a question if the boyfriend is toxic and you should be worrying about breaking them up, not about her hobby. But that's also a whole another conversation. Anyway, if you don't agree with the changes your friend has in their personality, in their life, doesn't mean you have the right to come in and judge them for it. So, am I the for showing my friend 20 female and I's 19 female texts to her boyfriend 20 male? So my best friend, let's call her R, and her boyfriend, let's call him J, have been dating for around a year. I was the one who introduced them because R and I are childhood friends and I met J in one of my classes freshman year. College. Recently, they've been going through a rocky patch and have been fighting a lot. 2 weeks ago, they had their biggest fight yet, and J and R did not speak to each other for a week afterward. R even skipped out on our weekly study groups, and with finals coming up, that was really significant. With these being two of my good friends, I wanted to see this conflict resolved, and seeing their lack of communication frustrated me. So, when I was hanging out with J and he asked if R had said anything to to me about him, I decided to be honest. I wasn't going to lie straight to his face and say no. So I pulled up R&I's texts and let him read them. She had been ranting to me and had said not so nice things about Jay. He was not happy. Of course he was not happy because maybe, just maybe, have you thought about it? This was not intended for his eyes, and she might have been angry. She might have been not in her right state of mind, and she was trying to vent to you as her friend, and you just basically went and ratted her out, and it's a very, very non-classy gesture. He later brought this up to R, and they started fighting even more, as to be expected. Soon after, R texted me that she felt really betrayed that I had shown Jay our private conversation. Yes, because it's private for a reason. R said that most of what she had texted was out of frustration and she didn't mean for Jay to see it. She said that she thought that I was a safe place she could rant about her frustrations to. R said that she didn't feel comfortable sharing private information with me anymore and was going to take a step back from the friendship, as she should. I thought that was ridiculous. Jay asked me a question and it wasn't like I was about to lie to him. Well, you see, this is the problem because you could have just said that, yeah, she's pretty mad at you right now and your business is your business and I hope you resolve it. You didn't need to show the texts. You didn't need to make this situation even worse because it just seems like you wanted to make the situation worse. I feel like R is majorly overreacting and that if she didn't want Jay to hear those things, then she shouldn't have sent it in the first place. However, our other best friend, 20 female, is getting really mad at me. She thinks I'm the asshole and that I owe R an apology. I refused and now she and R are not speaking to me. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Yes, big time. Reddit agrees. And I don't even want to talk too long about this because you don't seem to understand the definition of a private conversation. You don't seem to understand what friendship means. And you're just twisting this whole thing about I wasn't just going to lie to him to make your excuses because there was about 3 other ways, if not 10, in which you could have handled this situation way better. Showing him the texts is giving off the vibes that you are trying to break them up and you are trying to get on his good side and get up for her. So, am I for telling my friend it's time to grow up? Oh, I think it's my favorite one. My female 31 best friend, female 31, Olga, and I met at a cafe this morning. Originally, I wanted to meet at 9 a.m., but she said she'd still be asleep, and we ended up meeting at midday. To be honest, it irked me because she never wants to meet before midday, and not all of us are lucky enough to be able to sleep in whenever we want. So you're basically mad, not because this time of meeting is inconvenient for you, which I would understand. You're just mad that you cannot sleep until midday. This is hilarious. For context, she doesn't have nor want kids. She runs a business from home and she typically works till like 3, 4 a.m. and wakes up at 11, 12, which is frankly ridiculous. You're frankly just jealous. The girl is living her best life. I have kept my mouth shut for years, but today I have had enough. When we met, I told her it's time to grow up and stop acting like a teenager. I said that she's in her 30s and it's long overdue she learned how to wake up early. But like, why? Why are you trying to make everybody miserable in your own image? Leave her alone. People who can afford to sleep however the they want and whenever the they want should definitely do that. It has nothing to do with like growing up unless you have the perception of growing up that this woman seems to have, which is being miserable from dawn to dusk. In that case, yes, but that's a very toxic mindset. Don't do that. She said, I wake up when my body wants to wake up. This sleeping pattern gives me most energy because that's what my body likes. I called her bullshit and said she had to stop making excuses for her bad habits. Oh my god. Nobody asked you, Patrice. Literally nobody asked you. Shut the up. She said she'd wake up when she wanted to and to drop the subject. I mean, very reasonable. Why are you trying to police the times she's waking up? I didn't. I said that career isn't everything, and once she finds a husband, she might need to change her habits because no man will accept a woman who sleeps until midday. Oh my god, you're so annoying. Why is she still talking to you? I hope she doesn't anymore because this is a nightmare. It reminds me of my typical conversation with my mother when we start talking about tattoos. Well, before I got married, when we would talk about tattoos, she would tell me, you can't get any more of them. She's very, very mad at me every time I get a tattoo. And she used to say that you can't get more until you are married because no man will marry you with that amount of tattoos. No man will want you. You're just like spoiled goods with all those ink things on your body, okay? And I used to tell her that if I meet a man who doesn't want me with my tattoos, then I don't want this man. Because it's like, it's who I am. Why the should I pretend to be something else for the sake of getting myself some dude who doesn't like women with tattoos? It's a personal preference, and I personally prefer dudes who like tattoos on women and on themselves. So, like, this is the similar situation, which is like, why would Olga want a husband who wants her to wake up at like 6 a.m.? This is stupid. Nobody should sacrifice who they are for random standards that are enforced from outside. Just because you think this is the right thing to do, it doesn't mean that it actually is for everybody. So just sit down. She told me I was a grabbed her coffee and left me in the cafe alone. I was so embarrassed. I asked my husband to babysit our kids and now I was stood up. Yeah, because you were being a that's called consequences. I was furious and made a Facebook post while finishing my coffee, and some people think she was the asshole, but if you mentioned that I was and I shouldn't have said anything, you made a Facebook post? This keeps getting better or worse. Depends on how you look at it, but in my opinion, it just keeps getting better because you'll keep being more and more ridiculous. This is why I said at the start of this episode that you can't make this up. Now I'm not sure. She hasn't messaged me yet with apologies, but if I was the asshole, I need to know so I can message her first. Am I the asshole? Yes, you are. Reddit also agrees. This is some ridiculous behavior. I don't even know. It's like, what is going on in your head? So that one morning you just wake up and decide to start ordering your friend about and telling her when she can and cannot wake up. Mind your own business, okay? That's all I have to say. And to the last story of today. Am I the for wearing a short dress when meeting my friend's boyfriend for the first time. My friend has been dating a new guy for a few months and wanted me to tag along for drinks yesterday so I could meet him for the first time. I was willing to hang out with both of them and have a good time, so I agreed. About an hour before I was supposed to meet them, my friend called me and asked me for photos of what I planned to wear. I told her I was probably going to decide last minute after I showered. We were just going to a bar, so I figured it wasn't that serious. She insisted I dress down and asked me not to wear any makeup. For reference, I wear very little to no makeup as it is, so I found her request extremely strange. At this point, I was annoyed. I asked her why she was trying to police what I wore and how I looked. If she was uncomfortable with me being there, I could just stay home. I only agreed to do this because she asked me to. She apologized and said she was just looking out for me because I don't frequently go to bars and she didn't want me to look silly. I thanked her for her concern and hung up. What the f? While I stuck to my usual makeup routine, I decided to wear a dress that I was looking forward to wearing on a date. I was meeting my boyfriend for dinner after drinks with my friend, her boyfriend, so I figured it was the perfect time to put it on. When I arrived to the bar to meet my friend and her boyfriend, she was immediately upset. She pulled me aside and accused me of trying to steal her boyfriend. What is going on? I told her she was being ridiculous. I hadn't even said more than a hi die before she flew off the handle. She was standoffish the whole time I was with them, but I had a nice conversation with her boyfriend because we grew up in the same part of town. I had allotted about 2 hours to hang out with them, but I decided to leave after an hour. My friend messaged me the next day and said she was extremely hurt because I decided to dress hot despite her asking me not to. She thinks I purposely tried to make her look bad in front of her new boyfriend. I said she was insane because I've been dating my boyfriend for 3 years and don't want anything to do with hers. She's still extremely upset and won't talk to me even after I tried to make amends. Stop trying to make amends. I guess you're not the your friend is literally being insane in this instance. I don't know what's going on, but her insecurity is through the roof. This is actually very, very scary. I am very sorry for the boyfriend because I cannot imagine what a headache she will be on him because, you know, the minute he looks at another girl, she'll probably just explode. She really needs some professional help with that because this is just straight up mad. Yeah, so this was the last story. I hope you liked this episode. It was a bit of a roller coaster of terrible people today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, don't forget to subscribe not to lose me. And I will see you with another video real soon. Bye.